Welcome to this episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. I'm Eric.
And I'm Angie.
We are married with a ton of kids.
We have 6 kids total. He has 3 and I have 3.
My name's Hallie and I love riding horses.
My name's Lexi and I've always been the most responsible.
My name's Carter and I like picking on my siblings.
My name's Chase and I love a clean truck.
My name's Summer and I still like to spend my parents' money.
My name's Dane and I love baseball.
And around here, we talk about the real stuff. Parenting, marriage, faith.
Along with grief, growth, second chances, and blended family life.
And all the in-between moments that don't make it to Instagram.
Our podcast is for the couples figuring it out, the parents trying their best, and the ones holding faith and heartbreak in the same hand.
Look, we don't have it all together.
Not even close.
But we do have honesty.
And a whole lot of grace.
This is Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess.
Let's get into it.
Welcome to this week's episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess, where Angie and I are really excited because we had a guest this week who is a regular listener. I feel like God just keeps putting great listeners in our path who have gone through life of challenges, also wins, and so they can really relate. Maybe that's why they're listening to the podcast to begin with, would be my guess. And so Tara Cory is going to join us today. I just want to say, if you guys noticed the recent photos that we posted in the last couple of months, the rebrand of our podcast pages, Facebook, Instagram, all the things, Tara shot those. Tara made me look better than I've ever looked in my life. And I'm really appreciative of that. I was super happy with it. Angie always looks good. She's always like a 17 out of 10. But to even put me where I look like I belong with Angie was really well done, Tara.
God. Wow.
You were full of it that day.
Yeah.
So
that's a great description.
I was feeling the shoot, guys. I was feeling.
Yes. We have a lot in common, Tara and I. We both have blended families. We both understand what it means to lose people that we deeply love. And we also know how to turn that pain into purpose. And that's why I wanted Tara to join and just be able to kind of dive into that conversation, because I've witnessed it in you and I'm sure you've witnessed it in me. And I think that's just a cool thing to experience, to watch someone go through hell and then turn this into something beautiful. So,
well, thanks for having me. I was going to say, Eric, you would appreciate this. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yay. I love it. Fantastic.
That's so funny.
Yeah. We've been listening to you guys for a long time. I mean, our paths go back, Angie, and not only were we coworkers, but, I think I interviewed on your team at one point, oh my gosh, probably 5 years ago. And then you told me about your podcast and I started listening to it because I was, I think, just dating my now husband. And so having, him being a stepfather to my oldest, has its challenges, but also its biggest blessings. And then who knew you were going to go through what you went through. Yeah. I was going through what I went through, and we kind of leaned on each other for all of that grief and love.
Definitely.
Yeah. Who knew? You're also a Hallie's House frequenter.
Oh, yes. That, again, I mean, we'll probably talk about it, but that was a sign, who knew that was going to be our place for our very first family vacation as a family of 5. And y'all need to check it out because that place has healing powers. I am the biggest supporter of it. I'm y'all need to go to Hallie's House because you walk in and it's instant relaxation.
Yeah.
I need to be there now.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely feel it for sure. Well, I want to talk about your mom.
Yeah.
Tell us about your mom, who she was, what she was like.
Yeah, she was, so something she always wanted to be remembered by was a nurse. She was a nurse through and through. She was a giver, super selfless. We always joke that if Eric were to say I love these shirts, those aloe shirts, right? I think she'd be like, oh my God, I'm going to get him 8 colors because he likes it so much. She was just that person that was if you loved something, she would give you the shirt off her back because if you liked it, she wanted to give it to you. So she was super selfless and she had the best laugh and she had the best one-liners. So anytime I think to myself, what would mom say? And it was like a corny one-liner. I'm like, yep, there she is. There she is. She always had a one-liner. And family and faith. Family and faith was everything for her, and photography weaved in at the near, I don't want to say the end of her life, but I guess it really was because it was once she became a grandma.
Yeah. What's like a memory of her that just immediately makes you smile? Because you have those memories where you tear up. But what's a memory that makes you immediately smile?
So there's a couple that I instantly think of like in the moment when I'm going through it. When I see those gumballs from trees, you know what I'm talking about? Like those spiky gumballs. One time we were walking into church and it's me and her, and I'm probably like in my high school time of my life. She steps on one and slips and eats it. And I bust a gut. I'm laughing and I just keep walking and she's laughing. Like I wouldn't have left my mom if she was like seriously hurt. Yeah. But she like slipped and rolled and felt like the most like dramatic way. And every time I see those gumballs, I'm just laughing because I'm like, oh my God, I have this exact picture in my mind of her just like laying.
No.
Yeah. And then another one is that makes me laugh is when we were dress shopping for her mother of the bride dress for my first wedding. She got stuck in a dress.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And meanwhile, she probably would hate that I say this. And meanwhile, I too just had eye surgery. So I have like literally a patch on my eye. So we're like the blind leading the blind. She's stuck in this dress at the boutique and I'm trying to get her out of it. And I'm like laughing, like we were like peeing our pants because it was so funny.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Good memories.
If you could sit across the table from her right now, what would you want to tell her?
Ugh. That one's a good one. What would I want to tell her? It would be more what I would want to ask her because her last day was so unexpected. It would be more asking like about being a mom. I feel like I took that for granted. She was basically my spouse while I was raising my oldest as a single mom. So she was there for me for sure. But being a single mom with 18-month-olds, you're just like going through just a fog. Like I didn't know what I was doing, and thank God for her. So now with 3 boys, I would like to ask her, like, does she just sit there and just laugh at what's happening in this house? Like WWE last weekend on TV and in real life, right? Like that's just in our house. So I'd ask her about that stuff. I, of course, ask her if she's proud of me, which I'm sure she is.
Yes.
But, I always need those atta girls. So,
yeah, for sure. Well, maybe let's dive into losing your mom and maybe share a little bit of what that was like. Because it is one of those things that everybody's going to go through. I've not gone through it yet, but like none of us are getting out of here alive. So maybe talk a little bit about what that was like, losing that piece of your foundation. That's moms.
And how old were you? Because my dad died when I was 27. So
I was 30. Yes, it was right before my 31st birthday. It was a month before, and it was in January, and it was the most gorgeous Friday. And something about my mom is whenever she became a grandma, a nana, she took every Friday off and had it with Jason, my nephew. Uh-huh. And so every Friday was Nana Friday. And funny enough, that Friday, she didn't have Brody. So she ended up trying to do those on Fridays with Brody. And she was working that day or was supposed to be going to work. And I went to pick up Brody from preschool. And I'm sitting, picking him up, waiting for the bus from the field trip to come. And my dad calls me, which is really weird because when my mom was alive, I talked to my mom. My dad was like, one of the last people to know about things and everything else and be in the know. And he called me, and I'll never forget that phone call and my chest collapsing. And I was outside of a church, oddly enough, and I blacked out. So, it's something that losing your mom, you don't think that that's ever going to happen because they're resilient. They're your mothers. They're our heroes. They're our parents, like they're not supposed to be gone. How am I supposed to be still living when she's not? So it was extremely painful. And seeing my dad lose his best friend, I'm going to probably cry, was really hard because those two had a marriage I looked up to. They went through hard times, lots of hard times. They went through losing their own parents together. That's one time, the first time I've ever seen my dad cry was actually when his mother-in-law died, like seeing this big burly man cry, seeing him navigate life alone was pretty tough. How to use an ATM, how to use a bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old was
she was 62. I'm probably getting that wrong. Almost 63, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, who knew? Her shoulder always bothered her. But as a photographer, my shoulders bother me,
Right.
And women, massive heart attacks or any kind of blockage is super hard to detect and notice in women. So she thought that going on the inversion table would have helped. And she didn't make it into work, and they called Dad. She was there. Pretty tough. A huge life lesson that I didn't think I was going to have to learn at the age of 30.
Right.
Yeah. My dad was 52. He's a week before his 53rd birthday. It was the day after my 27th birthday, and he just fell over. And his dad had a heart attack at 40. So it's definitely something that's at the forefront for me.
Yeah.
Where, being in my mid 40s, like, oh man, I'm in the window. And it is really hard to see because my mom, she really just shut down when my dad died because they married over 25 years and they did all the things together. Like she had to relearn how to drive. He had driven her the last 5 years of his life because they did like a business together. And so something she never really learned how to do, unfortunately. So it was sad.
What surprised you about grief? Because I think until you've gone through it, you kind of have this vision of what you think grief is, it's crying. And then my interpretation is, it's crying and then you just sort of move on. I
didn't realize the waves that it would be, the lasting effects, the way that it completely shaped me as a person. Like, I know you know this, Angie, like that Tara before January 2020 will never come back. She will never come back. I mean, I do think that, and my dad thinks this too, he's very faithful and he's like, everything happens for a reason. There's a bigger meaning in this. And I appreciate that. But I still get mad, and we talk about this all the time. Why do other people still have their moms when they don't even talk to their moms?
Right.
And my mom was my best friend. Why did she have to go? But I will say, like, Aric, to your point, nobody else in our family her brother, actually, her oldest brother, she was one of 9, had a massive heart attack at a young age. But other than that, nobody else in our family had heart problems. And again, her being a nurse and being selfless, what she went through and how her passing happened saved other people in my family. They ended up getting early detection. And some, even of my young cousins who were in their early 40s, had to have surgery and get some things cleared out in their blockage and things or in their arteries. So it's crazy. I've already got detected. My sister's already got detected. So luckily we're clear, but it's just wild.
Yeah, it is. It's life altering. I mean, we talk about this all the time on the podcast and how people choose to take that grief and navigate. It takes all shapes. I mean, there's definitely that anger. There's the why. There's an aspect that's lonely, even when you're surrounded by people. Some people want to talk about it. Some people don't want to talk about it. I mean, but I think the foundational element is it changes you. And there's no going back. There's no like unwinding that to your point.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, I don't think we've ever asked anybody this that's lost somebody, but like in your grief process, what stage do you think gave you the most difficulty? Like where did you maybe get stuck or struggle the longest or maybe still are?
I think if I had to I think obviously getting pregnant with my other 2 boys had to be one of the big parts of shit, she was there in the delivery room with me with my first. now, granted, I have an amazing partner right now, but like that doesn't duplicate my mom, But when I found out, funny enough, yesterday was my youngest cleft lip smile-iversary. So when I found out at 20 weeks that he had a cleft lip, oof, I needed to have my mom, especially from a medical side of things. And that I went through a really rough time, very rough time, because it was like grief happening all over again. Okay, what did I do? What did I do to cause this?
Yeah. It does feel like a punishment.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a punishment. I think the same thing. I still do, even though I know it's irrational. I still think, God, what if I would have said something more to Hallie? Or it's like this what if. And to your question on what stage, like I don't feel like grief has a stage. I feel like it is just this wadded up ball of freaking mess all the time. Yeah. There's times where you feel sad. There's times, I'm sure that for you felt so lonely, so much anger, so much sadness, like just all wadded up. And then you have to figure out how do you chip back away at that to get back to a level where you can function.
Yeah.
And it's like that all the time.
Yeah, it's just, it's a piece of paper that's going to be crumpled up and never be flat again, never be smooth.
Yeah. Can't fix it. Not a lamp that broke, you can glue back together. It doesn't work that way at all. That's why we've said so many times on this podcast, like we couldn't like fix our home. Like it was literally like it had to be leveled out. And then you rebuild the life anew. There was no if. And I was just thinking about, you were talking about losing your mom is kind of taking me back to losing my dad. Like I hadn't really thought about this, but losing my dad and losing Hallie, the anger part is where I struggle the most. Yeah. The denial was never really a big thing. I knew that happened. These things have happened. This is where I'm at. But the anger part really, I don't know what that says about my heart, but that's been the part that has been such a struggle in those big losses in my life. Yeah. And maybe this conversation, the next time I have a big loss, I'll be alert to it. I don't know, but.
Yeah. And the waves, or the losses for our family never stopped in 2020. It was supposed to be a really big high in our family. Me and my sister both got engaged and we're getting married that year to the loves of our lives. And, I feel a little like I feel guilty that, I did have her at my first wedding, but then that just didn't work out and pan out the way that, it's like I wasted it, right? Like I wasted that wedding with my mom. But, she was there. She was my ride or die. She was my business partner. We photographed together. We ruined our bodies by photographing so many weddings together and babies. And, but we have a lot of memories that I'll never take for granted from those moments. So it's not, you're never going to stop grieving. My husband luckily has his parents. He's only lost grandparents. So it's tough to navigate that in our relationship. But then, like I said, the waves kept happening, losing my nephew and then losing my brother-in-law in the last 5 years. So
you've had a lot.
I want to talk about that, but I also want to ask you, just for clarification, because I'm not sure, so I know our listeners don't know either. Did your husband now, did he know your mom or did she?
He did.
Okay.
No, he did. He and my mom was obsessed with my husband. Like,
okay, good.
Grossly. I'm like, she would always like grab his arm and I'm like, Mom, I'm right here. And like, she was very much a pop-in person. Like, that's just how my mom was. We grew up in the country, right? Like you didn't call, you didn't like even knock, you just showed up. So sometimes we would be at home. She'd just show up and it's like, hey, Mom, thanks for coming. But yeah, she loved him. And funny enough, I love this when this photo comes up. It's a photo from her last wedding that she was at with my family. And that pony song, that pony from like Magic. Oh, yeah. My mom was sitting there on a chair and my husband definitely gave her a show. I'm like, my God. So that video or that memory in my mind plays like a video, like her dancing on him or him dancing on her. And she was just lit up. I'm like, okay, Mom, I get it.
All right.
So she loved him. He feels bad. He feels like he got gypped, got to only have her in his life for 10 months, so it sucks, but
I think too, grief, we always like look back, and to your point, like you have these amazing memories, but I also think grief's there to teach us something.
mm-hmm.
And so if you like looking back, are there things that you would have done differently? And are there things that you're so glad you did? I mean, obviously you did a ton with your mom. And so that is so amazing for you to be able to hold on to those memories and so much of it captured too. But, you know, I'm thinking about listeners that maybe have a mom that's going through health issues, or, you know, they know kind of this path ahead, that there's things they can take away of like, oh, I need to make sure I do that.
Yeah. Taking the pictures. I wish I would have taken more pictures with her. I mean, we did take our, you know, healthy amount of selfies every once in a while. And funny enough, right before she passed, we went dress shopping for my sister. And when my mom passed, me and her were kind of at this little, as mom and daughters do, little bit of this little rocky moment. But, you know, I did not talk to my mom. Like, we were still just going through it because we were very, very similar and very stubborn. But when we went dress shopping, she was like, let's take a selfie. And I'm like, why do you want to take a selfie? You know, like, and I did though. And it's our last picture together. So,
oh my gosh. Yeah.
You know, she wanted that. And I still think back, like, did she know? Because my mom was very intuitive. And you and I, Angie, always talk about intuition. And, you know, even down to the day that she died, we all rushed home and she had all of our birth certificates and our social security cards and everything on the steps.
Oh,
They're usually in the safe. Why were they all sitting there?
Yeah.
Like, she was like, it was so weird.
That's weird.
So, yeah, but it's just, I wish I had more voice recordings. I've tried to save as many voicemails as possible and texts. I wish I would have done that more. I wish I had more videos. I tell Michael that all the time. I'm like, you know, our kids are going to have so many videos of us, which is so great now in the age of devices, but I don't have many of her. So,
yeah. I never thought about videos. I always took pictures until Hallie died. And the videos of her were what I play, because you get their mannerisms, you get their laugh, you get the sound of their voice, all of that.
Yeah.
Well, let's pivot. And I do want to talk about your nephew. And I feel like that also was another connection point for us. Ironically, we were down at Hallie's house, and I'll never forget you calling me and telling me what happened. And I know exactly where I was standing. I was standing in the back of the house, and it was just so incredibly heartbreaking. And it's just, especially when kids are young, there's just a whole other level of like, this is not supposed to happen.
Yeah. And I called you. You were one of the first people I called because Jason's fall, like, I still think, and last night I kind of was going in and out of sleep, and I felt like I was getting my intuition. I was getting my download from my angels and my messages. And I still think that his death was so unexpected that I don't think even God knew that it was coming. I say that because it was such a tragic accident, work-related. And when he fell and was on life support, I think he was going back and forth. And actually, that's what the medium told me. He was just going back and forth. He didn't know if he wanted to stay or go. He didn't know what life would be like and if he could do that to all of us and be basically a vegetable. But when he was on life support, I instantly thought of you because they wanted to donate his organs. And I'm like, I don't even know, my brother, what do you even do at this point? Like, how do you go about this? What's the right thing to do? And also I called you because I'm like, I know you took pictures. And at this moment in 2023, when Jason had his accident, I stepped away from photography. I stepped away from photography at 2020 once my mom passed. I will say I still dabbled in it, but for the most part, I shut everything down with Tara Lee photography. And when he passed, I was like, something in my head was like, pick up your camera. And you told me, you're like, just do it. And I asked, and my brother and Jason's mom were resistant. And I ended up sneaking my camera in and taking pictures. And I'm so glad I did.
I mean, it's such a weird thing. I know unless you've been through it, people probably think that is weird as shit to like take pictures of someone in such a state like that. But there's something so sacred, I think, of capturing pain, also capturing beautiful moments. Those pictures right now, I'm in the stage where they're hard to look at. And if I'm scrolling and I sort of just go past them. But then there's also times where I really sit in it and I just think it was such a beautiful thing for all of us to be surrounded and loving, supporting each other, even in a big blended, family, extended blended family all in the room. But I also think about like the situation where you were really close to your nephew and losing him, but then also trying to be supportive for your brother and in that tragedy and that pain.
Yeah.
And, you and I talked a ton about that after all of that happened, and maybe share kind of what that feels like from that lens of a supporter, but also grieving, and you've already lost your mom, and this helplessness, I think, that happens.
Well, I'm with you. I still haven't watched the honor walk on my phone. I was the only one to record it. Still haven't watched it. I don't know when I will. It's been, 3.5 or close to 3 years. So seeing my brother have a baby at 19 meant that Jason, only being 14 years apart from me, was like a brother and not just a nephew. I mean, I would pick him up from preschool. I'd pick him up from kindergarten. He lived with us whenever it was his dad's time. So he was my ride or die. I mean, I'd be pushing him in a grocery cart, and I think old ladies would be like, is this her son? And he goes, this is my aunt. Like he would correct them. But yeah, my brother, I mean, he had a baby at such a young age, and then he had to bury that baby at such a young age. And he also didn't have his mom to help him through that. And it definitely was just another freaking like hammer on the head. Like, what did we do? And that's something actually seeing my dad struggle with. He was like, is this a fault of what I've done in the past? And to hear him say, he didn't say that about my mom, but this was his first grandson. We always said grandson number one. So I don't know, that like Jason was supposed to be the one to take over the farm, take over the land, like be the next Wellen to do it all. So yeah, having my brother be this big construction man and completely raw and open, and all I could do was like hold him, was tough. And he was actually in Florida when it happened. So I had to call him to tell him.
Yeah. Gosh, it's just not supposed to happen. I think that's why it messes with everybody. I mean, my dad's the same way. I mean, him experiencing the loss of Hallie is way different than experiencing the loss of their parents. I mean, it's just something is so out of order. So what did your brother need most from you in that situation? So he doesn't have his mom. He's lost his son. What did that look like? And maybe what did you guys learn together through that?
I think because I am so much like my mom, and I actually said this to Michael the other day, I've positioned myself into her role really as just I don't want to say fixer, but just the doer, right? Like if he was just mulling around an idea or what to do, I just did it. So I just showed up. I sat with him. I went to that hospital every day because they did have him on life support. They were checking, a lot of signs and all of the tests and stuff because they were unsure. But we went to the funeral home, and I was like, let's do this, this, and this, and just all of the things. I did the picture boards. I just did it. So he didn't have to. My brother's not a mushy person, and I've just really I don't think he's hugged me like that ever. And the weight of his body, his big burly body, I'm like, oh my God, he just needed somebody to stand up and just take charge.
Yeah. That is a gift. It's a gift.
There too, that was a blended family, and something that my brother and Jason's mom did excellent was raise that boy together. she was a part of our family too. So I tried to just be that wedge a little bit too for them. But I very much am somebody that I will tell the story. I will bring them up at any chance I can.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell funny stories. I maybe not like you, Angie. I do have a little bit of the dark death humor. Like, I'll just be like, well, my mom died, so you can't talk to me like that, I saw my nephew on life support, so nothing can harm me, I have that.
Yeah.
But you know what? You got to make light of some things. And I know that they would
Angie
not want me to sit
says
there.
we're going through something bad. She's like, this is not our worst day.
Oh,
That's my line.
I've had worse days.
Or it's like, why are you worried about that? It doesn't matter. Because not much matters.
No.
When you've seen that, when you've witnessed that, when you've experienced that, it's like, doesn't matter.
I think she's talking to me, Tara.
I am. He's like,
was a direct...
we got to be on a budget. And I'm like, it don't freaking matter. Like at the end of the day, like it does not matter.
Yeah.
He gets tired of me saying that because he's like, damn it, stuff does matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe.
So the next question is, for sure.
Yeah, he's ready to switch it. So maybe share, because you've had a lot of grief. We're not even touching on, you lost your brother-in-law at such a young age to cancer. That was a quick thing. So sad. Like you've dealt with so many losses. It's just crazy to think about navigating that. So I am sure that grief has taught you a lot, has taken a lot from you, but maybe just talk about that. Like what have you kind of taken from this grief?
Definitely that life's way shorter than we think. I also had this feeling when I remember starting at Worldwide in 2018, and we were just sitting around talking with my team, and I don't know where we got on the topic, and I go, well, it's fine. I'm going to die young. We were just talking about this. And after talking to, and I just always felt like I'm just going to die young. But the medium said that I had that in my mind for my mom.
Oh.
And so now in my head, I just really am like, life is so precious and it's so short. It's way shorter than we think. And seeing my kids grow up, I'm like, oh my God, now we're out of diapers and everything. Like I'm just really relishing in every stage. And also, I don't have time for fakeness. I said that to my husband the other day. I'm like, how do you be genuine and your whole self with being nice still, like not fake, because I just want to tell people what it's like. Yeah. But, and I don't have time for, relationships that don't bring me joy and bring anything good to my life. And I can tell you that like, I'm very much an ADHD person where like, okay, those dishes can wait. I'm going to go in that pool before I do the dishes because I want to spend time with my family. So yeah, and just always hanging up the phone and saying, I love you. Taking the trip. That's always going to be a new thing for me. And obviously being in the pictures and snapping, being the paparazzi. My husband's like, put it away. I'm like, nope.
Sometimes I think we have a very similar brain because I went on a walk this morning and I did like a little TikTok walk and talk. And that's exactly what it was about, was time. Like time is such a mind beep because I'm sure for you, it's the same. Like, I feel like it's been 80 years since I've seen Hallie, but yet it happened yesterday. It feels like, but then you take that and you apply it to your kids that you have right in front of you. And I'm like, I am more present and more in tune with everything that's going on because I know that tomorrow's not promised. I know something tragic could happen tomorrow. And I don't ever want to live in a situation where I have not prioritized my kids and their day. Like to your point, the dishes, like we get so worked up and on this, like I have to do all these things. And at the end of the day, if that person wasn't there anymore, you'd regret every second you didn't prioritize the time. I think that's the gift, to your point, exactly what you said. That is the gift of grief, is that you know what matters. I'm the same way. I have zero patience for any bullshit. Like I'm done with it and I can set boundaries in 2.8 seconds and be like, I'm not playing with that.
Yeah. So I definitely have to like tell myself though, sometimes there are moments when I'm obviously going through a day to day or like dad calls me and I'm like, I don't have time for this. And it's like, wait, or rushing bedtime. I'm like, stop. This is bedtime with your kids. Like, just take it in and sing the bedtime song, read the book. So it's definitely a back and forth.
So let's dive into you taking your pain and turning it into purpose, because I think this is such a beautiful part of your story, of you picking back up your camera and just seeing you like hyperachieve in that space, making Aric look so handsome.
Really appreciate that still.
But maybe share how that unfolded, because I feel like I got to watch that happen for you.
Yeah. And taking a break from 2020 to 2025, I don't know what kind of clicked in me. Early last January, I was talking to Michael and I'm like, something's missing. Like, I did photography since 2011 to 2020, and it had its ebbs and flows within that time frame. But that 5-year break, I just felt like it was routine. It was just like, didn't bring me joy. I was doing it just because I was that person that did it. And I didn't have like a purpose in what I was photographing. And I found this, I went to this convention, and it was so wild how I went to this convention, I didn't want to go to this convention, but I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go. I haven't been to one in a while. It was March of 2025. And I'm standing next to this girl. I didn't know anybody, standing next to this girl, and she seemed lost. She seemed like she didn't have anybody. And I said, oh, are you here for a certain teacher or class? And she's like, well, have you heard of On Angels' Wings? And I said, no, I haven't. And she said, well, it's where they take pictures of families who are losing a baby or stillborn or medically, challenged, terminally ill, or anything like that. And I was like, I don't know if I could do that. It just felt really raw to me and cold in a way. So I ended up walking into that class like randomly. And I was like, okay. So I sat down, and the gal started talking about her nonprofit organization. Her name's Michelle. And I'm sitting in the way back, and somebody asked a question like, would you edit out any, deformities or anything for the editing purposes of these photos? And again, I'm still not sold. I'm like, there's no way I can do this. And she goes, well, looks right at me and goes, if a baby has a cleft lip, you wouldn't edit that out. And I didn't ask the question, but she looked right at me. And I go, and like instant tears. And I leave. I just like I have the chills right now.
That chills. Yeah.
I just like walked out as soon as it was over, and I was like, I don't know. But I felt like something was just calling me. She ran after me. She's like, why did you look at me? I go, why did you look at me? Like, I thought maybe she knew my story. And she's like, no, why did you have such like a face for that? I'm like, because my son has a cleft lip. And so it was like an instant thing. And something about my mom is that, she photographed certain members of our family who were also going through tough times and medically diagnosed with terminally ill issues. And that's just something she did. She picked up her camera. She took pictures at funerals. She took pictures in the hospital, everything. So it was something that was not uncommon for me, but I felt gravitated to do this. So I signed up and instantly photographed the first couple sessions that weren't fatalities, but it kind of warmed me up to it. And the feeling and joy, and that's weird to say joy, but the feeling of giving back in that space was huge for me. I'm not afraid of hospitals anymore like I was. I know that the photos give a way bigger meaning. Like you said, Angie, it holds on to that piece of love, not the piece of sadness, but the piece of love. And it's changed everything of how my business is now, 100%. So sorry, that was a really long-winded answer, but I
just think it's so beautiful. I feel like for you, when you leaned into that, I didn't know that part that lady looked at you in that session.
Easy.
I think when you leaned into that, I feel like your photography, you as a person, just like exploded.
I agree.
Opportunity, and you have just poured into it more than you probably ever have. And I think that's the lesson for everybody listening, is that if you lead with purpose, the doors will open up for you. It will happen. It might not be on your timeline, your expectations, but I do believe that's why things happen is because you have this amazing gift, and you probably never would have leaned into that organization if you hadn't went through all the hell that you've been through.
Yeah.
And I think that's just something good for everyone to take away is like, gosh, it's hard. Life's hard, but finding that purpose, gosh, it changes everything.
Yeah. And it's like you're witnessing these parents and these grandparents and these siblings like at their rawest moment. And I feel eternally grateful that I'm the one being able to be in that room with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have this little corner over here, and I was taking photos of a baby that passed right in front of my eyes, went from pink to gray.
Hmm.
And that mom held me, and she handed me this angel that the grandpa made and was giving to nurses. And she's like, this one needs to go to you.
Oh,
like this little wooden angel. And I'm like, to me? Like, what did I do? Right. But these are the last photos that they'll ever get to remember her by.
Wow. Yeah. The ability to stand next to someone in that space of great loss. I mean, that is such a gift that you're giving to them.
Yeah.
There's not very many people can do that.
And I feel like because of my story, and I don't always bring it up, but, I feel like I can relate in a lot of ways. I don't know how I would have done if I wouldn't have lost what I've lost and felt that precious gift of life. Mm-hmm. And two, like when they ask who's available for this time to take these photos, I look at my day and I'm like, none of that matters. Mm-hmm. These people are going through the hardest time in their life. And my meetings, they can wait. Mm-hmm. They, the dishes can wait. Obviously, if I'm available and I have daycare, I will try to make it as much as I can. So I really try not to say no. And it's something that is not paid. I don't ask for anything. I don't get anything, and I don't expect anything.
That's beautiful. Well, I think one final question for you. I've just totally enjoyed this conversation, so I know our listeners will too. If you can go back to who you were before you lost your mom and your nephew and your brother-in-law, like what would you tell your other self, the old you, based on what you know now? What would you tell her?
I tell her to buckle up because I probably thought my divorce was probably and being a single mom was the hardest time in my life. That was just the beginning. That was prepping me for the roller coaster I was about to be on. But that the roller coaster has so many highs, and it has just brought this incredible gift that I'm really, really, really proud of. I've never thought that I would say that about my photography. If I looked back in 2014, 2015, Tara, photography was just a job for me at that moment. Of course, I loved creating. But now I take it as such an honor and such a privilege that people choose me to take their moments of their family and capture those seasons of their life. And I don't take that for granted at all. Yeah. And even if it was the silliest picture or not the most perfect, that means the most to them. Mm-hmm. That's all I can tell old Tara, just to be ready.
Hang on.
Hang on. Put your hands up sometimes and let it go. But for the most part, it's just going to be a rocky road.
There's a quote that I shared a long time ago in my previous job before I joined Worldwide. And it's life's a roller coaster. And you can either throw your hands up in the air and scream the whole time, or you can just enjoy the ride. Yeah. And it's definitely that. I mean, it's life's going to throw you all types of curves and ups and downs. And I think if you can lean into it and you can try to learn from it and find that purpose, then that is why we're all here.
Yeah. I think your story is what we always say. You have a painfully beautiful story, and you continue to make a difference even in your pain. So thank you.
I just want to do more. I want to know what the next step is going to be, right? I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see what's next on tap for Tara Lee Photography. So we'll see.
Well, I appreciate I appreciate you having the hard conversations with us. I think sometimes people don't want to talk about grief because it's like if it's easier to sweep it under the rug and maybe it'll go away. But I mean, you and I know that's not true. It's really the opposite, that talking about the people we love, talking about our experiences keeps them alive. And that's how I think we can find that purpose. So appreciate your time.
Yeah,
well,
we
thanks for
appreciate
having
you.
me.
Yeah, it's absolutely been fantastic for me personally, just to get to know you a little bit better. And I know that you've been blessing our lives since we lost Hallie, and glad that we are forming this friendship. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
All right. For all of you listening, we hope you've had a wonderful time hearing Tara's story. And maybe you are thinking to yourself, I've got a great story too. Reach out and let us know. But we thank you for listening this week to Blended Blessed and Always a Mess. Have a wonderful week and God bless. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Blended Blessed and Always a Mess. Lexi and Hal, take it away.
I'm Lexi.
And I'm Hallie.
Have a great week. Or have the week that you deserve.
That was perfect.
Yeah, God bless.